Well, now let's move on to the dreaded word, gazumping. I've been gazumped, and I'm sure I'm among millions who have. And what people want to know, and the question that's been asked is, why do estate agents allow it when they already have a buyer in place? Who wants to pick up that question? Because this.
I'll jump in on there because we are lambasted for that quite regularly. What people need to remember is that we, as the agent, have a legal obligation to report an offer at any stage. So we don't have to necessarily encourage a viewing. Someone can still make an offer and we have to legally pass that on.
But why do we see such a difference? You look in Scotland, gazumping is illegal.
No, it's not.
Is it just a different way of going about? So once you've had an offer,
the process is much closer to the English system than people give credit. You are still no more bound to it before exchanging missives, as it is in Scotland, as you are exchanging contracts in England. It is less done, but it's no means that you can't still do it.
I know you're getting the better price for your vendor, and as you've already told us, the vendor is the person you're working for, but surely there should be something in there that stops this happening.
Unfortunately, it's the way our legal system and the sales process works. It's not us as agents who control that. It's the politicians, really. The one thing that we do always advise is making sure that our clients have a full legal pack ready to go before they've even put the property on the market. If that happens, then actually if you get a buyer who comes along and is ready to move quickly, then there's no reason why an exchange of contracts can't happen quickly, which negates the opportunity for gazumping. The other thing I would say as well is one thing that doesn't necessarily get as much publicity as gazumping is gazzundering, which is when a buyer happily goes and puts a high price on a property and has no intention of going through with that price.
Either it's gazzundering or gazumping. I mean, a lot of people see it as a breach of a verbal contract. It might not be a written contract, but it is a verbal contract.
Yes, yeah, and unfortunately, the sale is not legally binding until contracts have been exchanged, and maybe that's something that we should look at changing.
In my experience, gazumps more often than not fall through, and my experience is that people always want what someone else has. When you then give it to them, more times than not, people don't actually want it. So I'm very suspicious of gazumps. I have to report them, but I can still give my opinion of whether I think it's credible or not.
Just very quickly on this, I want to bring up on, you said you think we should be looking at changing it. Is that a realistic option going forward?
I haven't heard anybody talking about it, other than people who've been gazumped, so I don't think it's necessarily on the political horizon, unfortunately.
How quick can you get finance in place?
It depends how organised you are, and if you're looking to get a mortgage offer, you need to be organised, especially with your paperwork. I would recommend going to a mortgage broker rather than one particular lender, mainly because they'll be able to tell you what every lender will require. So even if you do decide to walk into a branch on the high street, you'll know what paperwork they're going to require. So it's about being organised, making sure you've got your bank statements for the last 3 or 6 months, making sure you've got your pay slips available, making sure you've got a copy of your passport. All of those sort of things will help. To answer your question specifically, you can get a mortgage offer in as little as 10 days. Sometimes that might be subject to a valuation of the property. Sometimes it's even possible to achieve it with the valuation done. But the normal would be probably 3 weeks or so.